Alright, here we are, Friday, I think it's April 21st. Heading out to a new spot a friend showed me. It's a pretty big chunk of public, and looking forward to it. It's going to get windier later today, but we'll see what we can do. It's kind of a semi-open area. I got my Reaper fan, just in case. It's going to be awesome. Stay tuned. So speaking of Reaper fan, here it is. So I got to the hunting spot a little bit late, actually, about 6:30 or 7 a.m. And I had a plan to go to this upper ridge where I could glass with my binoculars, a place where you could see a good 4 or 5, even 600 yards possibly. And just to basically go up there and listen. And about 10 minutes into it, I heard a gobble, a faint gobble. It was really windy that morning actually already, and the gobble sounded way far up. I knew it was closer than what it really was because it was windy. So the gobble came from this chunk of pines that I'm in right here, and I just real slowly walked a couple of steps, stopped and looked, walk, look. Kind of a semi-open area. It wasn't all clear rows of pines. There was some brush in between in spots. Really a good setup though for turkeys. And then I'm walking, bumping them. I heard about cluck, bunch of clucks. And so I ran into the group, and I just sat down and waited. And they waited for them to move off over this next little hill. And then after I sat there for about 30 minutes, and then after a while, I took a couple steps. Probably it took me another maybe 20 or 30 minutes to go 50 or 60 more yards in the direction that they kind of scattered to. And then I set up here. You can see a little dip, and then it goes up again. That upper hill way off to the left there in the distance, that's the field opening on the left. That's why it's a little bit brighter. That's about 60 to 70 yards right on top of that hill on the other side. And so I set up right on top of this hill and just called, and in about 5 or 10 minutes, sure enough, I saw 3 toms walk out on top of that hill to the left there. They didn't come any closer though, and I know they weren't within range, so I was just patient. And then finally we had a standoff here for about 10 minutes, 10 or 12 minutes. Finally some hens came down from the left, and luckily one of the toms followed her. So this is just my homemade turkey fan. I have a video of how to make one if you want. Basically I hold the fan up so the turkeys see the back of the fan, and I have it on an old Delta decoy stake, one that just kind of breaks in half, and I keep half of it in my fanny pack, the stake, the plastic stake, and I just have a piece of paracord where I hang it off my fanny pack or your belt or the fan itself. So it's kind of right on my side, doesn't weigh barely anything. You don't what I like about it is it's not a full, like a half like a strutter decoy. I know some guys like to reach behind that, but I don't want to carry that. Number one, I don't want the safety issue of carrying a red and blue head with me, number two. And number three, sometimes you just don't need any decoy if you set up in the right spot. So I can just leave that laying on the ground and use it only if I need it, and it doesn't weigh anything, so it's pretty handy. And here I have it up again, so one of the turkey's eyes must have been on me. Once you have it up, you're kind of committed. And just so you know, this is not legal in all the states. Some states are not allowed to sneak up on a turkey, like reaping it. Again, that's why I choose not to use the red head. I just choose to use this fan, and that's it. I don't like making gobbles. Sometimes I'll just do some yelps. But I do really like feeding the turkeys, and this is a pretty good strategy. As you'll see in a little bit, I I couldn't get very good footage because the fan was just barely in my way of my action camera, my head. I'm working on some different strategy. There's a company called Painted Arrow that is going to make a shotgun mount for your phone that goes right above your shotgun. And so in the future, I am going to get that. That's not out yet. I just got their bow and arrow mount for the phone, which makes filming really easy. So I'm looking forward to the shotgun mount, and then hopefully I'll be able to get better footage of this. But had they not come down, and you'll see in a little bit here, you'll see me shoot and run up to the turkey. But had they worked off over that hill or not come any closer, I did get lucky that one did break off and got close enough so I could kill him. Had that not happened, I could have just crawled up on my belly. And once you get inside their comfort zone, I found, I don't know, anywhere from 40 to 60 yards maybe. Sometimes 80, I mean, it kind of depends. Then they'll either get mad or they'll get curious. And they'll come closer to check you out. I've had them come really fast into this. I've called them away from live hens into this setup, and it just works really good. You have to be super careful, especially on public land. You have to know what you're doing. You have to assume there might be another hunter close by, and so what precautions are you going to take doing this? I don't recommend everyone do this. Use at your own risk and make sure it is legal in your state or region. So there you just saw me move a little bit. My gun's on the ground there. I was in the sitting position when I set up, and then I just realized I need to get the prone position so that the fan could cover more of my body. So basically I just made a little move forward a little bit over to the side, and trying to keep the fan up in front of me. I just felt I could be hidden better if I was on my belly in this certain situation. Had I had more cover or brush that was lower to the ground, I probably just could have remained sitting. But so that's why I move. Sometimes if you just make a little move towards them or towards them and off to the side at the same time, that's just enough to pique their curiosity or to get them mad, and they will come right in. The reason I set my gun down there just a little while ago, because my fanny pack was in front with all my calls and stuff, and I couldn't comfortably lay on my belly with that on, so I took that off, left it on the ground. I think I just grabbed one call, but after this point I was not calling at all. I did some calls while I was sitting before, and then now it's just a visual game. Now it's just basically keeping the fan up. If they don't respond to it, then you just need to move a little bit closer to them and get ready. At church today, they preached on 1 Corinthians 1:31 that says, "So that as it is written, let the one who boasts in the Lord." So I just I don't take credit for this turkey kill. I want to give the credit to the Lord for giving me the ability to do so. I do have some experience hunting turkeys, and I just really love being in God's creation. But again, this is not because I'm special or anything. I just enjoy being in God's creation, and I give God the glory for this hunt. So my friend Scott, where I was hunting turkeys previously, the numbers were down quite a bit. I just wanted to try a new area, so my friend Scott showed me some spots. And this chunk of public happens to be, 7,000 to 8,000 acres. So it's a pretty big chunk. And I really enjoy bigger chunks like that. You don't have to worry about trespassing as much. And, you can go make a play on a turkey. You can loop around a couple hundred yards. You got plenty of real estate to work with when you're talking about a chunk of land that big. And I was just thankful that he kind of pointed this out to me. I was actually looking forward to scouting and hunting and seeing more of this piece. We just drove by this when he showed me this, but this is the first time I stepped on this piece of land, and I was tagged out by 8 or 8:30, so it went pretty fast. bittersweet. I for sure take it, but I'm sure I'll be back there in the future and be able to scout out some other areas back in this chunk. There are spots where I think it's a half mile or a mile to the nearest road, so I'm sure as the season goes on, their turkeys probably just move a little farther away from the roads, but I'm sure they're still there. So I'm really excited for the future, just being able to scout this area out a little bit better. So here I'm just going to fast forward about 8 times as fast here to get to the shot coming up. There it was. Let's just watch that in slow-mo again. I couldn't really tell if I hit it or not. I couldn't tell if it flew away or what. It's kind of behind a tree, so I'm kind of just get up right away and make sure I got it. Just kind of walking fast here. It ended up being 38 yards. Luckily, that's a pretty good range for my gun. I thought it was longer, but after I range found it, it was only 38, so that was plenty close enough. And here it is. Ended up being a little over 22 pounds. And I think it was, I'm not sure if it was a 2-year-old or what. One of the spurs was 1 inch, one was 7/8 inch, so not the biggest spurs, but still a good sized turkey. 9.5 inch beard, so very grateful, very thankful, and just blessed. And again, give all the glory to God.